Hey book nerds, welcome to Shelf Byte here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Shelf Byte features a spoiler-free book or audiobook review in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and if you'd like to chat with me about the book reviewed in this episode, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shelf Addiction. You can also join me and other readers in our Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official. If you enjoyed this episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with one book nerd friend or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate it. Let's jump into it. Today's review is of audiobook Polaris Rising by Jessie Mihalik. This is the first book in the Consortium Rebellion series. The genre is romance science fiction. Some consider it a space opera of sorts with a lot of romance. I really enjoyed this title on audiobook. The audiobook is 12 hours and 41 minutes long, narrated by Emily Wu Zeller. The print and audiobook were published February 5th, 2019 by Harper Voyager and Harper Audio, respectively. This book came highly recommended by a fellow book nerd, so I had to check this out, and I'm so glad that I did. First, let me tell you a little bit about the book. Set somewhere in space in the distant future, the universe is ruled by this group called the Royal Consortium. The high counselors within this group and the heads of the 3 high houses hold all of the power. Our heroine, Ada, is the 5th of 6 children, so she really has no real power in her house nor authority, but her value is in being used as a pawn through an arranged marriage, which by chance she is on the run from. So the story begins when a bounty hunter captures her with the intention of bringing her to her father, and there on the ship is where she first meets Locke, who is the most wanted person ever, highly dangerous assassin, and they meet and they decide, well, maybe our interests align. While this book does take place in a space environment with spaceships and suits and space jumps and interplanet rules and politics and all of that fun stuff, it is equal in romance with relationship drama and tension and attraction and everything else you expect from a romance. So in my opinion, this was nicely balanced. As traditional with romances, there is a happily ever after. Well, actually, since this is a series, it's really a happily ever after for now. The story is told from the point of view of Ada, and she is such a strong, witty, smart heroine. She's imperfect and yet completely relatable. Locke is a brooding and smart, very alpha male, yet not over the top. Ada and Locke together have a sizzling chemistry from the beginning. Their complex romance pulled me in even quicker. Even the secondary characters were fun, and I hope to learn more about the houses, their families, and now Ada's friends that aided her and Locke in their adventure. This story was just so well paced. It went so quickly. I didn't want it to stop for anything. I felt like I blew through this entire almost 13-hour audiobook in 2 days. Speaking of the audiobook narrator's performance was spectacular. Emily Wu Zeller has narrated other books that I've enjoyed, and I was not disappointed. She added so much value to the story. From computer speaking, men and women, children, and more, she nailed all of it. With audiobooks, I'd like to give a headphone rating. I would recommend headphones for Polaris Rising. Yes, there is not a whole lot of cursing and, extreme violence, but this is an adult book, so there is sex in the book and there are some violent parts in there. And, just because you wouldn't want, your boss walking by and hearing it, I would recommend headphones. I rated Polaris Rising 5 out of 5 bookmarks. If you're familiar with me even a little bit, then a 5 bookmark rating for me is hard to come by. So that speaks volumes. Polaris Rising is a fun, fast, and light read full of romance and adventure with the perfect amount of science fiction. This is an adult read, as I just mentioned, so if you enjoy paranormal romance or even any space-themed read where the relationship is just as important to the story as all of the other sci-fi aspects, this is for you. While I don't know how long this series will be, if it will be a trilogy, a duology, or whatever, I don't even care because I'm here for it. It can be 2 books or 20 books. As long as Jessie Mihalik is delivering the same delivery and tone, then I am down for this entire series. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next episode, and until next time, happy reading. Take care, everyone.